Welcome to the Goodvibepeople show, where we explore the leaders and shakers in the events and entertainment industry.
Good evening, Good Vibers. We're here on a Tuesday night with Olivia, aka Chillivia.
Yep.
How's it going?
Good.
I'm really digging your art. I just discovered it not too long ago. Chillivia here is coming to Art Jam next Friday. Mm-hmm. So just tell us really quick, for those who don't know you, who are you and what is it that you do?
So I'm an artist from Vancouver. Started off as an illustrator and started venturing into mural art. So that's kind of my focus now. But yeah, I like to do it all. So like illustration and design, and also painting and mural art, and kind of trying to do everything, trying to do more shirts now and stuff like that. So yeah.
So I like I'd like to talk to you about your inspirations, because when I saw it at the first time, I thought it was kind of a cool mix of genres between, I guess the early hippie psychedelic art and, kind of the new school illustration with like the new tools coming in. So I'm just wondering, like, what is it that inspires you when you're doing these very detailed and explosively colorful drawings?
Well, I guess there's a few things that have inspired me over the course of me becoming an artist.
Let's hear it.
So music is probably the first thing that inspires me the most. My favorite genre is psychedelic rock kind of thing. One of my favorite genres I like a lot. But the 60's, the era of the 60's obviously has really influenced my work as well. And you're right by saying that it's more of like a contemporary take on that time, especially because of my digital art now. So I feel like it's a good combo between like a vintage design and also what's going on in the world today. Also, traveling has inspired my art a lot. I did a few trips to California in a van, like driving down the coast kind of thing. And that's really where my style came from. It's when I first started developing my own style. So California really influenced it, which I'm sure you can see. And basically the whole West Coast, because then I moved to BC, and then that had a lot of influence on my work. So yeah, I would say music, traveling, and nature.
And West Coast vibes.
West Coast vibes, yeah.
It reminds me of kind of a festival poster of the 80's, but like on steroids every time. I really enjoy the whole, explosiveness. I guess it's the first word that comes to mind when I see it. So really digging, and also the colors that are old school colors. You're using like brownish, golden-ish type hues, and kind of fusing it with, I guess the more modern instruments, and it does a good good end result. So what got you into doing these psychedelic creations? Like, what's your background?
Well, I went to school for graphic design, and while I was there, I realized I didn't want to focus on that really, like the graphic design part. Yeah. So every project that I got, I veered it towards my illustration. And then I can't remember like the exact moment that the psychedelicness came into it. I don't know why. It just creeps
up on you.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened. I guess I honestly think it's because of the music I was into, and also people from that era that I was really inspired by and that I really loved. So a lot of musicians. I guess you kind of try to emulate things a bit, right? And what you're passionate about, and then that's kind of what happened. It just turned into this psychedelic art.
I guess hippie culture is so, when you hear about it, you can't help but wanting to be from that era, I guess. So I get the whole, trying to go back to the roots. It's as if you think about it in such a romantic way, and feel like, oh, everything seemed dope back then.
It just seemed like it was really happening. Like, yeah. But I try to veer away a bit from like the hippie thing. I feel like it's really trendy now. The whole hippie aesthetic. Yeah, you know, like Coachella and like Forever 21 or whatever. They're selling a bunch of hippie stuff. I don't know.
Right.
So I kind of try to steer away from it. And I think lately maybe my style has been evolving a bit more because I'm having that feeling. And also coming here to Montreal, that's influenced it a bit too. But yeah, it's just what comes out of me.
As much as I see and I understand that the traditional aspect of the art, I also feel like, you know, kind of mixing it in with a new school angle is kind of refreshing though. So you're kind of, you know, fusing the old and the new with psychedelicness. So let's talk about psychedelics a little bit. So I see you know, a few shrooms here and there. So what's the deal with that? Are you a aficionado of the fungi?
I just think mushrooms are magical in all sense.
I concur.
Yeah, so there's so much to learn about them, and they're beautiful, and there's so many different ways you can draw them. And I've spent a lot of time in Tofino. I don't know if you're aware of Tofino, but in the fall they have...
I know it's kind of a hippie culture, right?
It's on the island, Vancouver Island, and it's a really beautiful, magical place. And in the fall they have a lot of mushrooms that pop up, and they're insane. Like, they're like this big, and they're so vibrant, and there's so many different kinds. So I like foraging through the woods and finding... It's just like a fun thing to do on your spare time. And I feel like that's really that part of the world has really influenced my art.
Right.
And I guess that's kind of where the mushroom also came in.
Well, it is a magical thing, you know, and I've started reading articles recently. For some reason, a lot have popped up in my feed. Not sure if it's this different stuff that I'm looking at or it's this new research, but they're saying stuff like it's resetting your brain for depressed people. You know, it's basically a great thing even for anxiety and stuff like that you would not associate drugs usually, because most of the time it'll accentuate or make you paranoid. But lots of different studies are kind of, you know, putting a good light on psychedelics and especially shrooms, and I guess it does create some good art and so much good content out of it. So that's why I wanted to touch it with you. You know, there's something about it that just, I guess, makes the world flow. Or not
I guess
flow.
you could say that. No, I think it makes the world flow. Actually, I'm pretty sure they call mushrooms, it's like the internet of the natural world.
Okay.
Like it connects everything.
That.
So it's a good, I guess it could be a metaphor for my art. I want everyone to connect with it.
Right. I like the internet for
the natural world.
I really like that. You kind of get tuned into, but it's almost too much to take, you know. And I feel psychedelic art in a way resembles that, because there's so much going on and it's so, you know, flashy. And there was another psychedelic artist coming that came a few months ago called John Lantier, and he does, you know, some crazy psychedelic stuff, and it's you know, like hyper, all your senses are kind of woken up with it, and
it catches your eye for sure. And
I feel also we're kind of moving away from that, you know, hyper colored world. I feel like everything is kind of, well, in Montreal at least, is minimalistic. You know, everything that's modern is kind of, you know, reducing to the essential of, like, you know, one letter in block words, black on white, which is cool too, and kind of, you know, simplifies it and makes it, you know, cleaner for the eye to see. But I do enjoy, you know, the whole, I guess, explosiveness of it all.
Well, there's like a lot of art is very conceptual, right? So it's like about the concept, and mine has a concept, but what I'm really going for is like the feeling that you get when you see it. And that's usually my process is, like, I don't see that in my head. I just like have a feeling, and then I draw that feeling. kind of thing. And it usually starts with like a color palette or some kind of feel. So that's how what I want my art to be, is like something very visually pleasing.
Yeah.
And
So take us through your process. Like when you say you go on feeling. So would you start by hand and eventually, do it more on the computer afterwards? How do you break down your work basically?
So usually if I'm feeling kind of stuck creatively, I'll put a song on that I'm really into at the moment that kind of can resemble my art in a way, and then I draw. A lot of my images are drawn through a certain song that I'm into, and then I'll draw it out, and then I'll scan it. I do it really like ghetto old way. A lot of people now they just do it on the screen. I scan it in, and then I do it digitally. So it's like I just trace it on the computer and then add the color.
Cool.
Yeah.
And do you find there's a magic to that of going through the whole scanning old school way?
The scanning part's a little annoying, especially because I'm always on the move.
Right.
So I'm like, I have to go to a library and this doesn't fit my paper and all that kind of stuff. I rather just skip that part, but I do like drawing on paper. So I do like that part, and I would be scared that if I started drawing on a screen, I would kind of miss that. But then I do a lot of painting, so it could go hand in hand. I don't know. Every artist tells me to get like an iPad or some kind of pad to draw on, because it's way more efficient.
It is more efficient, and I guess there's more possibilities of doing it. But there's something about just the pen and paper that keeps it so real,
authentic,
and tangible.
Yeah.
Even apparently when you're writing stuff, you remember way more when you're actually writing it on paper, and it's crazy because you're doing the exact same movement, but just the medium kind of.
And my eyes are burning from looking at screens all day, so I wouldn't want to add that, like another screen to my screen time, which is like all day long,
More screens.
Yeah.
As if we don't have enough screens.
Yeah, exactly.
So what drives you to create? I'm getting deep here because of the deepness of your work inspires me.
Yeah.
These questions.
I'd say music, mostly. And I feel like I started creating because I was kind of bored.
Okay.
Like I was like, what do I do with my time? It was very, like existential crisis.
Really?
Kind of thing. Yeah, which I get a lot of those episodes. So it's like, what do I do with my time? And I always felt like drawing, you could always get better and better. Like you'll never stop getting better, and you'll never stop growing with it. And it's very rewarding for myself to be doing that. So if I kind of lose the meaning of life, or I'm like, what am I doing? At least I have that kind of thing.
Whoa, that's
real deep for you.
That's deep, but
yeah.
You know what? You kind of explained, I guess, why people do what they do. That's not work, and of course it does start with, I guess, boredom, but it changes into something so much more. It's kind of what you do is who you are type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like that's kind of what I live for in a way, I guess, just creating, because it gives me purpose to myself. And I guess it's nice to bring that kind of joy to other people, which I've started to realize that it brings other people a lot of joy when they see my work, which is really nice. So, yeah.
I find the best artists kind of go through that process. I feel the ones that get lost in what you get out of it, like the tangible benefits, whether that's money, whether that's fame, whether that's
an Instagram like follow,
which I mean, obviously you do need to get some form of recognition for you to want to keep going, I guess, but the best ones will need an intrinsic value to get better, if not you're just kind of working for somebody else, and in that case it's no longer art, but it's more like graphic design.
Yeah, exactly.
For a company,
which is what I still do it sometimes to pay the bills ish to kind of pay the bills, but I definitely wanted to do stuff that I wanted to do. But I have started to grow an appreciation for design, which is cool, and I never thought I would. So my design work, it's really hard, but I've been getting better, and I've started to actually enjoy it, and it's cool to see them go hand in hand. So like my illustration with design, and like I'll do a lot of music festival posters or concert posters, and I feel like if I didn't have the other, which graphic design, then it wouldn't work as well. So I kind of like how it all ties in.
Yeah. Well, companies are becoming, you know, more open and cool in a way of kind of letting that art kind of come in, and it's not as, I guess, just functional for
Rigid,
a brand. Rigid and everything. So, and it's getting better and better. And even, you know, super serious stuff. I saw this thing that was very cool about, I think it was mental illness or something. And usually it's all, you know, kind of depressing and heavy, but it was very colorful and, you know, kind of artsy in a way. And I guess, you know, to illustrate certain things, you have to be in that vein of creation rather than more, I guess, utilitarian.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
And I hope that's the direction that the world continues to go in.
I hear you on that one. I hear you on that one. So yeah, I guess if everybody would be just creating more, you know, it'd be peace in the world, a little bit like your drawings.
Yeah.
So if you could do any project, what would be your fantasy project of all times?
I want to continue doing murals. I did my first really big one in Vancouver, and that was a really awesome experience for the mural festival. So just to continue on that, but around the world would be sweet. So maybe like San Francisco or something would be a dream. Yeah, just more murals. I like painting in really big scale. It's really cool to see your art that big on a building that you would never think would happen.
With the mural festivals and everything about the murals, it's crazy because I was just thinking, why doesn't every single building have this? You know? Like, why are we still doing the red brick shit? You know, like everything should be, you know, super colorful and designed, and at least half of them.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, a collection of them, which is what Vancouver has started to do. And I know Montreal has a huge festival too.
Yeah.
And there's so much street art, and those are the places you want to be, right? Like where you can just walk around and it's like a gallery.
Exactly.
But in the real world. So yeah, I hope to add to those galleries.
Put all of these artists to work. Let's start painting buildings.
I'll do them all for free.
Yeah, exactly. Just pay to paint.
Yeah, exactly.
So thanks, Olivia. It was really good to have you. And we're going to see Chillivia very soon on at Art Jam this Friday, actually. Yeah. So come check her out. She'll have a few stuff to sell. Is there anything you want to plug just before we leave tonight?
I'll have shirts and tote bags and stickers and prints for sale at Art Jam, and they're a perfect Christmas gift.
That's what's up. Say no more.
Yeah.
Chillivia. Peace out.